Um, I do think that we need to discuss my favorite story of the week by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Flying Ted. Flying Ted Cruz. Man, I thought Joe Biden going up on that stage and making the wild claim. He said minorities generally don't know how to use the internet. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, Joe Biden is like old man crazy, where he really has good intentions, I'm sure. But he's just so wacky and old that he doesn't know what he's saying half the time.
It's when your grandparents say something that's weird and you go, all right.
like Joe Biden gets up there and he's like, because, minorities don't know how to use the internet. And you're just whispering to the guy next to you, he's from a different time. I'm
so sorry.
I'm sorry. He's from a different time. It's a different time. He's a good dude. It's a different time. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, Joe. I don't know if you need to have Kamala Harris do all the talking for you. He's barely even doing any talking. Like, you never hear from the guy. And when you finally do hear from the guy, he's like, let me tell you about these minorities. You're like, oh no, Joe.
He is nowhere near as exciting as Trump, but every now and then you just gotta listen.
Right.
You'll get something.
Right. Yeah. Because when he does drop something, you're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. But old Teddy Cruz knocks him out of the headlines because, it's terrible what's been happening in Texas. What's been happening in Texas, they had just smashed. The way you guys smashed that like button, Texas was smashed with 2 winter storms in a row. And it knocked off. See, for some reason, Texas, they're still, I guess they remember the Alamo. They still have that thing where they got that Texas pride, And so the power grid, I guess it's not they're not part of the national power grid. Like, the power grid for most states, I believe, is in Washington, D.C. Texas's power grid is in Texas. Texas power grid is in Austin. And it's like, it's here. It's in Texas. We don't want anybody else handling our power. Thank you very much. And everybody was like, all right, handle it yourself. So Texas gets smashed with these 2 winter storms. They're like freak winter storms. They don't get these things much in Texas. They're not prepared at all for it. 4 million people end up completely losing power. Power goes down for days. They've lost power, and it's freezing cold outside. So it's freezing cold inside because they don't have any heat. They were having problems with the water because, water mains breaking. And so, dirty water's getting in. So, there's some places that still have no power. There's some places that are on boiling water notice. Have you ever been on boiling water notice, hot dog? It means that they say you don't use your water unless you boil it first.
We get those notifications up here every now and then.
You do?
Yeah.
So all this is going on. I mean, people are dying. People are literally dying over there. There were stories of people who didn't know what to do. They panicked. And so they put their cars on for heat and they died of carbon monoxide poisoning. It's terrible, tragic stories going on over there. And then Ted Cruz is like, well, I'm here to help Texas. But I can't help Texas if I'm cold. So I'm going to see you all later. And Ted Cruz, go ahead.
I know. I love, because I was up late. It was late Wednesday, 2 a.m., where the first tweets were coming up. And it was I think the first main one was I think Ted Cruz is on my flight. And then it was it wasn't a clear photo. So the Twitter detectives got on it. They started looking at his hat or whatever, his luggage.
And that's when you start looking at it and you're going, oh my God, please be true. Please be Ted Cruz. Oh my God. Yeah, oh my God. Oh my God. It's Ted Cruz. Because where's your flight going? We're going to Cancun. We're going to Cancun. We're going to the beach. And you're like, please tell me, as people are freezing to death in Texas, that Ted Cruz is taking a beach vacation. It can't be true.
Oh, it was.
So the Twitter detectives did their work and they verified it?
yeah, they were like zooming in on his like wedding ring and then like, comparing it. And it was like, and then like in a half an hour later, it was like, yep, that's Ted Cruz. And he's going straight to Mexico right now. And
Oh,
I was like, you know, Ted Cruz was like, cause he was on his phone. Well, and when he was like, just sitting there on his flight. So it must be a weird thing to see a live roast sesh and know that there's nothing you can do about it.
he's looking at his hat match and it's like, oh no. Oh no, the plane hasn't even taken off yet. Power down your phones, please. He's like, I can't. This is bad. This is
He's
bad.
looking around and see who's looking at him.
Yeah, he wants to know who
took
got
the
him.
photo.
Because this is the photo
Yeah.
that came out. This is him. And I mean, it really does look like Ted Cruz. It is Ted Cruz. This is him. He's getting on the plane. He's flying commercial. And he's getting ready to take the family to Cancun, Mexico. Oh my God. Yeah, they got him. They took his picture. They put it on the internet right away. And then he's back the next afternoon. He's back like less than 24 hours later because he's like, oh, no, I got to.
He meant to. No, he was just going to take his family and make sure that they got to Cancun safe. That's all. And he, with all his luggage.
Plus, who escorts? I mean, once they're at the airport, it's going to be fine. You don't need to go all the way on the plane with them. Can you imagine if like you were going away to college and your parents were like, we're just going to ride the plane with you to make sure it lands okay? Like, you have no.
It's embarrassing.
Like,
yeah.
Why would you get on the plane just to turn back around? Well, I want to make sure the plane lands. What are you going to do if the plane doesn't land? Like, what? You're just going to crash with the plane. Like, what are you talking about? I don't trust you. I want to see where this plane is going.
It is the worst excuse I've heard from a senator about getting caught in something. I was literally going to come back in the morning, and you guys just happened to catch me. It's no big deal. You guys wouldn't even have missed me.
He's changed his.
Then you find out
he has changed his story.
Yeah. Then you find out his return flight was Saturday.
Yeah, he had to fess up to that because he realized everybody had the data on him. He started doing news interviews right away because he realized they had gotten him. I love, because there's just, I mean, how do you save face when like people are now in your neighborhood with big signs that say resign? They're chanting resign as you do your speech. Like, there's no story here other than, no, it was really cold and I wanted to get out of here.
And he blamed his kids on it. He threw his kids under the bus. His kids and his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, he blamed his family. Listen to him.
Control.
Your question, what was I thinking? I was trying to take care of my family. I was trying to take care of my kids. But at the same time, you're right.
Dude. Your question, what was I thinking? I was trying to take care of my family. I was trying to take care of my kids. What? You were trying to take care of your kids? You weren't trying to take care of your kids. You were trying to take a vacation to the beach. Everybody understands the appeal. That's what, just, if you're caught, you're caught. I don't know how you thought you weren't going to get caught, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it was cold, and you wanted to go somewhere warm. We get it. We understand.
Got it.
As a leader, you need to be here, and you need to be here when Texans were hurting.
And while Cruz admitted the trip was a mistake and he began to regret it the moment he sat down on the plane, listen to how he frames his error.
Yes.
In hindsight, if I'd understood how it would be perceived, the reaction people would have, obviously I wouldn't have done it. It was a mistake.
Cruz, who voted against federal relief for victims of Superstorm Sandy back
I
in
love that. He
2020.
goes, obviously, if I had known how people would react and how it was going to get framed, I wouldn't have done that. That's like saying, if I had known that people were going to be mad at me, I wouldn't have done it. And you're like, that's not the point. Like, that's not the issue.
I regret getting caught. I'm sorry I got caught.
Yeah, if I had known I was going to get caught, I wouldn't have done it. And you're like, well, of course you were going to get caught, first of all. And second of all, that's not an actual apology.
Does Ted Cruz think that he could have, during a state natural, I guess natural disaster or emergency, that no one was going to ask where Ted Cruz was for 3 days? Did he think that he was just going to go under the radar?
Well, he thought he was going to be able to work on Zoom.
Okay. From the beach, yeah.
Yeah, he figured that he would work on Zoom from the beach, and that everything would be fine. I mean, he kind of cleared it up here.
So the question from the video on the cell phone was whether the decision to go was tone deaf. Look, it was obviously a mistake, and in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it. I was trying to be a dad, and all of us have made decisions. When you've got two girls who have been cold for two days and haven't had heater power, and they're saying, hey, look, we don't have school. Why don't we go? Let's get out of here. I think there are a lot of parents that'd be like, all right, if I can do this.
Dude, do you understand? If I was growing up, when I was growing up, do you have people at your house?
Oh, I might have to mute this. Hold on.
Oh, I thought, because I was like, are those voices coming from me or coming from Hot Dog?
There's a little mini spreader event in my living room.
All right. Spread it. You know what I mean? Spread the love. That's what they're saying. Dude, if I went to my dad and I was like, hey, Dad, it's really cold. And he's like, yeah, I know. The power's out. I'm like, can we go to Cancun? He'd be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean, can we go to Cancun? You get, like, I don't know. My kids asked me to go to Cancun, so we went to Cancun. Like, what? You're like a high-powered person. What am I supposed to do? My kids wanted to go to Cancun. You tell them, no, I can't. I'm like I run Texas.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like if you're the head, like you, Sam, head of the house. If there is a household emergency going on and you decide to just go to Florida and hang out with Troy for 3 days.
Right.
Your family's going to look at you a little funny.
Yeah. They'd be like, why would you make that choice? I'd be like, because it's cold outside and it's stressful in the house. You know, I wanted to go to a place where it was warm. You could have gotten on the plane and just made sure that it landed okay. It would have been fine. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that excuse. You know, I just wanted to go with them. I mean, I don't know why. Like,
what are you supposed to do when your two little children want to go somewhere warm? You're supposed to just go.
I would have a problem, I think, having respect for my dad if I found out that he was using me as an excuse when he got in trouble at work.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think
these goddamn kids, you know.
It's the kids. Why didn't you have your report done on time? I'm a dad. I was trying to be a dad. You know what I mean? Look, I'm a dad first. And what's a dad going to do when his girls are cold? He brings them to Cancun. It's warm in Cancun. What do you expect?
Also, to add to all this, did you see that photo of his dog just in front of the house by itself?
Oh yeah, it's either
Snowflake.
They're not speaking of Twitter detectives. They're not sure if it's a poodle or a bichon, but they're trying to figure it out. Yes, somebody did realize that in the quest to save to save the girls from the cold, they left the dog in the cold. There was a guy who wanted this investigator found out Ted Cruz's address, and he wanted to see if Ted Cruz's claim about not having power was true. So he went to his house, and there was a security guy outside, and he was like, oh, and he's like, no, Ted Cruz isn't here, but it was like, it looks like the house really doesn't have power. There's a poor little doggy inside. They left the poodle. The poodle didn't go. And I mean, it looked like it was the size of a dog that could definitely fit on a plane. You know, they let those dogs on planes now all the time.
And it looked so sad and lonely.
It did. They said, the security guy said that he was taking care of it. But
yeah, the dog's name was Snowflake, which adds to the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, he bought the dog to own the libs, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's like, what, are you supposed to like stay with your family and like when it's freezing? I mean, if you're the senator of the United States and there's a whole thing where people are suffering in your state, the very least you can do is not leave the country and make it seem like you're running away from the problem.
Yeah.
Like at least, yeah, we're not asking him to put the power back on. We're just asking him to not fly to Cancun.
Well, first they were asking him to put the power back on. Please put the power back on.
Okay.
But then when they realized, like, no, your requests have to go lower than that. Like, it's as simple as just stay here. Like, and at
Don't
least
abandon it.
experience this with us. Just if you're not going to help, at least be here for it.
There's something about camaraderie, right?
I mean, I guess.
Like, yeah,
and he
you can't do
technically is
anything, but-
he technically is not supposed to just be existing at home. He is supposed to be trying to get the power back on.
Right. Make some calls, you know?
He's probably super pissed at that dog. Because the dog makes everything look so much worse, you know?
And it's right in front, just right at the front, like it's waiting for someone to rescue it.
And then there's rats everywhere, okay? The people on the plane, they ratted him out. I'm sure he's hiding his daughters right now. Although his daughters, I think, are still chilling on a beach.
Chilling.
Yeah. But I'm sure he's going to hide them when they get home because he's not going to allow them to do any interviews because they're going to be pissed that he blamed them for it. They're going to be like, no, what? It was his idea. He
No,
told
Daddy,
us to
you
go.
said you told us.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think that they're 7. I think they can speak, hot dog.
Okay.
How would they know to go to Cancun if they could barely form a sentence?
Good
I
point.
don't think they're toddlers. Yeah, I mean, and then they get more information about the story because they got a transcript of a group text that Ted Cruz's wife was on.
Who the fuck leaked that?
Somebody in the group text. I'm telling these group texts are harmful. I don't like them at all. My wife is on some of these group texts where something is happening in the house. And then like an hour later, she's like, well, the girls say to do this. And I'm like, why is that information in the group text? It doesn't need to be in the group text. Like, there's no reason for that to be there.
Now it's on the record.
It's on the record. Why would you have, I didn't want to write. This was a conversation that we could have just had. Now it's there for anybody to see. And of course, somebody on the group text couldn't keep their mouth shut. There was a text that went out from Ted Cruz's wife to the neighborhood group text, and she said, we're going to the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun because our house is freezing. And it's like,
It's gonna be late. I want to pull up.
yeah, that's basically what she was asking. And it's like, it's not even like, it's the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun. What, like, why should Ted Cruz be that rich? Why should our politicians be that rich that they have a mansion in Texas and then they're going to the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun to escape their own state being frozen?
To be fair, you know, people did their research. It was $300 a night. $309. Not too bad for Ted Cruz.
I mean, I guess 309 is not that, but he's getting more than one room. He's getting 2 rooms.
True. And if all those you know, wives went over there, probably would have been on him.
If the group text is going, yeah. So that's $620 a night plus food. You know, that adds up quickly. But no, okay, all right. They're only staying over the weekend. $309 a night. I didn't realize somebody had gone that far into the research. Isn't the internet great? I didn't realize they had priced out his weekend. And he did, yeah. When he first got home, he tried to say that he was just going to make sure they landed and then he was going to come right back. He did. I mean, he goes, I knew as soon as I got on the plane, it was the wrong thing to do. No, you didn't. You knew as soon as you got caught.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
As soon as he saw that one tweet that said, "Yo, is this Ted Cruz?" Ah, fuck! I knew I shouldn't have done this.
Yeah. Listen to him.
Great. That's what I wanted to do. As I said, really from the moment I sat on the plane, I began really second-guessing that decision and saying, look, I know why we're doing this, but I've also got responsibilities. And
my God. I know why we're doing this, but I've also got responsibilities. Look, we should, Hubbleson says, this is honestly a non-story, and I fucking hate Ted Cruz, LOL. Yeah, don't get me wrong here.
It is.
This is not a news broadcast. This is how hilarious is it that Ted Cruz got caught going to Cancun broadcast. That's all this is. I'm not sitting here going like, you know, his spending needs to be brought under review and employership and no.
Which one do you think is more fun to talk about on this show?
Go ahead.
Andrew Cuomo and the whole nursing home scandal, or Ted Cruz getting caught trying to go on a little vacation to Mexico?
Well, I would say the Ted Cruz thing is more fun, for sure, because there's no dead
Yeah.
old people in the Ted Cruz story. There's just Ted Cruz. However, I would like to get into that Andrew Cuomo nursing home story. And I'll tell you why, because Andrew Cuomo was like the stud of COVID. He was like,
He was Daddy Cuomo.
he was Daddy Cuomo. And now he won't
He's a gal,
answer.
call him.
He won't answer any questions about these nursing homes. He's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. And you're like, well,
We don't talk about old shit.
right. And you're like, well, if they're wrong about you, you should say that. And he's like, well, I'm just going to say nothing. And then I'm going to go, well, then I think they might be right about you then if you're saying
then
nothing.
Calling up state reps. I will fucking end you.
yeah. I think that's worth digging into. I think that there's some hilarious elements to that too. You know, just to watch somebody who was the man but was hiding something. You know, I don't necessarily like seeing people get torn down just for the sport of it. But I don't mind it when there's hypocrisy involved, and I don't mind it when there's like dirty secrets involved, when they're like accepting the trophy even though they know there's this blemish and they're just trying to hide it. I don't mind when that comes to light. I think that can be fun. That can be a fun process to watch because, you know, it should just be what it is, right?
You don't take a little victory lap and, you know, go on your
Exactly.
brother's show every single night.
I don't know. I think mom loved me more. Well, let's ask her. We can't ask her. I put her in a nursing home. She's passed away. We can't ask mom. She got COVID, so I put her in a nursing home. They're all gone. All of them.
Yeah, but that isn't to say that this story is just sexier, you know? That's all. It's sexier.
This is you know why? Because there's no consequences. That's why it's fun. Like, you don't want any consequences to arise out of this. You just want to goof on this guy and call him Flying Ted and ask him about his trip and, you know, just make fun of him.
That is great. I love that.
Whereas with Cuomo, you're like, wait, were you lying about the number of old people dying? And he's like, so? And you're like, huh? And you're like, what? Huh? Who said, huh? What? Huh?
Moving on.
Yeah. The Cuomo thing is kind of scary. This thing's a blast.